Cartoon Network is responsible for a giant portion of my childhood. I would go as far to say that it's been more impactful than, say, Minecraft. With the release of Cartoon Network's Big Three, Regular Show, Amazing World of Gumball, and Adventure Time, they had me completely locked in. April 5th, 2010 marks the release date of the best cartoon to ever air on Cartoon Network. Ever. Don't at me. And I'm gonna tell you why. Coincidentally, this is the same day Lil I'm a Guy found his new favorite show. And I'm gonna let you on a little secret. I didn't know anything about a plot chart. I didn't even care what a climax was. I was trying to see zombies and fart jokes. And when I tell you the writers of Adventure Time came through, they literally did. That was the first episode. But it wasn't the fart jokes that made this the best show ever. It was the main character's evolution. I'll link a video in the description which describes this perfectly, but it was Finn's gradual maturity which separated Adventure Time from other shows. There was never a moment or an episode where he was no longer a kid, but a gradual journey to maturity that takes place over the course of the entire series. We witness Finn make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and even make the same mistakes again, but eventually he grows as a character. The best example of this growth is a comparison of Season 1 Finn to Season 10 Finn. During the earlier seasons of Adventure Time, he's reckless. He uses violence to deal with adversity, and it isn't until later seasons where we see Finn try other avenues of solving conflict. The most notable example of this is when Finn himself recognizes this change.
Hey, this is kind of backwards, right?
How so?
I used to be all about violence. Now it's like, I'm different.
You're a beautiful flower, and I love to watch you grow.
This change is also paralleled in his physical appearance being drastically different from Season 1. Felt very similar to watching an older brother mature before you. There was also the introduction of Adventure Time's plot. Imagine you're watching SpongeBob and a new season drops, and throughout the new season, they're introducing a tragic backstory for SpongeBob, Patrick, and maybe there was a war that took place before our character's time, and that's exactly what Season 6 of Adventure Time did. So not only do we, the audience, get to see Finn mature, but the show as a whole mature. See, the first 5 seasons were very kiddish and didn't really connect to an overarching story. There was no explanation for why the land of Ooo was the way it was, which is perfect for a 6-year-old. But as the audience matures, they can fall out with the show, and usually the next generation will move in to consume it instead, but Adventure Time had a very different approach. Instead of the content being dumbed down for a younger audience, they instead chose to mature it as the audience did. What I mean by this is, as Lil I'm a Guy became aware of what was a climax, he also became aware of what was a tragedy, death, war, time, and emotion. And as I became aware of these themes, Adventure Time somehow knew and incorporated these themes into their story. The first example that comes to mind is Ice King. Like Finn, Ice King is a one-track character in the beginning, and acts as the main protagonist. I think the only persistent one, at least. Anyways, it isn't until I could understand and empathize with the character that Ice King became as developed and loved as he was. Which could be coincidental, but it still works in my argument. I wouldn't want to spoil it, but it turns out that crazy old ice wizard that kidnaps princesses was actually an ancient archaeologist that lived hundreds of years ago and survived a world war. That world war was called the Mushroom War and left the world in an apocalyptic state. In the apocalypse, Simon, I think that was his name, I'm not gonna try, he sacrificed himself to save a character named Marceline. See, by putting on his crown, it would make him lose his memories and slowly turn into what is the Ice King. And that's the stuff that 6 to 9-year-old me just wouldn't appreciate or care for. What I'm trying to say is Adventure Time somehow smoothly transitioned its maturity throughout my childhood, so that I never lost interest. With this, an entire generation of kids get to enjoy the show throughout all stages of their childhood, which is another reason why Adventure Time is so damn good, which isn't seen very often. For example, SpongeBob has been around 17 years, and their target audience hasn't changed since day one, and you see that a lot with other cartoons as well. There aren't many games, or shows for that matter, that make me stop and listen to their soundtrack, but Adventure Time is definitely an exception. Maybe it's me just clinging to my childhood as I'm ushered into my adult years, but there's something about it. And I'm not going to lie and say every song is an absolute banger, but they come pretty damn close. I'm going to talk about 3 songs in particular. First up is a Marceline classic, Everything Says. This song hits very hard. Let me set the tone for you. You just come home from school, you're going to watch a little bit of Adventure Time because your friend is grounded and can't come outside. You finish the episode, and out of nowhere,
Let's go in the garden. You'll find something waiting right there where you left it, lying upside down. When you finally find it, you'll see how it's faded. The underside is lighter when you turn it around. Everything stays right where.
And now you're conceptualizing time and eternity. I'm not going to do a full analysis of the lyrics, but basically, this song for some reason left a major imprint on me. I left my living room that day feeling like a keeper of time and knowledge. Next up is another Marceline classic, I'm Just Your Problem. And another thing, if Marceline was hopping on a track, that's a major indicator that it was going to be good.
I'm gonna bury you with my sound. I'm gonna drink the red from your pretty pink face. I'm gonna...
Marceline, that's too distasteful.
Oh, you don't like that? Or do you just not like me? Sorry, I don't treat you like a goddess. Is that what you want me to do? Sorry, I don't treat you like you're perfect, like all your little loyal subjects do.
I don't even want to speak after that. Do I need... I do, so this falls under fair use. Something that I've always admired about that song, and it's going to sound cheesy, is the way that the instruments kind of fade out in the beginning. And it kind of gives you that feeling of loneliness and courage as one confronts an oppressor or something like that. Everything about this song makes me feel like a rebel fighter during the Revolutionary War. Now, I don't know what that feels like, but I imagine that's as close as I'm going to get. Last but certainly not least, we have a B-Mo banger, Time Adventure.
Time is an illusion that helps things make sense. So we are always living in the present tense. It seems unforgiving when a good thing ends. But you and I will always be back then. You and I will always be back then. Singing will happen. Happening happened. Will happen. Happening happened. And will happen again and again. 'Cause you and I will always be back then.
Coupled with the fact that this song was made for the last episode of Adventure Time, it's another one of those songs that have you thinking about time. Another major theme within the song is loss. And right after losing your favorite show to time, listening to this song definitely hits hard. And personally left me more apt to delve in deep to the themes behind it. If it wasn't obvious, this is my favorite of the three because of how much emotional weight it holds. And 8 years of my favorite show ended on one song. In the end, Adventure Time didn't work because of its animation, its amazing storytelling, spectacular world building, or even its outstanding soundtrack. Although it sure helped, it was the show's ability to grow, mature, age with a generation of kids that would evolve alongside it. And I was lucky enough to be one of them. And there you have it. Why Adventure Time works. This is going to be the corniest outro I've ever done. Anyways, I know this is a little bit different from what I usually post, but, I wanted to try to create something a little different, something new. Don't worry, I am still working on a new episode of the Minecraft Let's Play. It just took a while to get back around to it. And it should be a little entertaining to watch, but, hey, I wouldn't want to hype it up for it to be trash, so, don't worry. But so far, I like the idea of the video. Back to this video, though. Tell me how I did in the comments. This is my first video essay type deal, so please spare me if you're going to flame my shit. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm a guy. Peace out. Or I don't know. What do I usually say? I don't know. It's been like 3 months. I'm out this hoe. I don't know.